is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are so.
Are we sure it's May 1st in Chicago? Yeah, we're pretty sure it's May 1st in Chicago. The Cubs faithful are bundled up on a raw day on the north side. It's May 1st, and the Braves and Cubs kick things off here before a packed house at Wrigley Field once again. Hi again, Chip and Joe. Welcome back to the ballpark. Rained out yesterday. The Braves hope to make up that game with the Cubs on July 7th. That has yet to be fully approved by the Players Association. We know we're going to play today, and we know who the starters are. Julio Teheran gets the ball for Atlanta in the hopes of splitting this brief, now two-game series.
And he's coming off his best start of the year and best start in quite some time. He pitched a great ball game against Boston his last time out. 7 innings, he only gave up 1 run, and he got beat 1-0. That 1 run came on a home run, you might remember, by Jackie Bradley Jr., but he was outstanding. He had his slider, his fastball, and his changeup all working, and hopefully he will be able to carry that on into today's ball game against the Cubs. For Julio against Chicago, he's pitched well. He's never lost to them, and he's 2-0 lifetime. Also on the road, 2-2 over his last 6 starts, and you see down there at the bottom his previous 8 road trips, not so good.
Cold, windy weather. We'll see if that affects Julio. It has in the past. Hopefully it won't today, for he's facing John Lackey, a guy that's really flown under radar. They made a lot of big additions to this team. A lot of folks have overlooked Big John.
Well, this guy, he hasn't pitched great so far, but he's getting a ton of runs to work with, and he loves being out there. He's a tough competitor. He will come right after you. He's got a good fastball, a good slider. He's 3-1 on the year, but take a look at his ERA. And then take a look at that next to the last line, run support. Almost 10 runs a game of support. That'll cover up a lot of mistakes for a pitcher.
He's made Jack Morris a liar. You can lose when you get nearly 10 runs of support. Lackey, though, 3-1 on the year. It's a cold, frosty day for baseball, but things are awfully nice inside Wrigley Field. They have made this place a palace. We'll get a Wrigley update and a SunTrust Park update from Kelsey when we come right back.
Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Welcome back, guys. Chilly day here in Chicago for what was supposed to be Game 3. It is now Game 2 of the Braves versus the Cubs, and I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet, all over social media. The Cubs have undergone a renovation to their clubhouse, and you guys, it is nice. I went inside there today. The locker room, man, it looks like one of those state-of-the-art facilities. Really cool lights, very open and widespread. All of the players, of course, have their own lockers with their jerseys hanging up, and you see the weight room right there. They used to share the weight room with the visiting team, which could get a little awkward in tight games, but now they have their own weight room. It is more than 30,000 square feet of space dedicated to new player facilities. That's the second largest in the MLB. That was phase 2 of the 10-16 project, and in phase 3 they're going to work on the visitors clubhouse, and of course we are getting a new stadium over there in Atlanta, SunTrust Park. So we're going to take you inside of what's going on over there in Cobb County with what you can expect to see in the new ballpark. We'll be right back after the break.
Is sponsored by Sherwin-Williams, your local Ford dealer, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Welcome back to a chilly day here in Chicago for Game 2 of the Braves versus the Cubs. And you know, there's a lot going on here at Wrigley with the new additions. Meanwhile, over in Cobb County, we're getting a new stadium, SunTrust Park. And the president of development, Mike Plant, gave us an inside look.
Our scoreboard, obviously, center field. As you can see here, the SunTrust Park signs are soon to be erected on top of that scoreboard. Scoreboard panels will start going in a couple weeks. That's a several-month project, obviously, of the incredible amount of, connection as far as the power and the circuitry. And so, it's a pretty good sized scoreboard again, and it's one of the things we pride ourselves on at Turner Field, and we're going to carry that over here at the same time. So we have a water feature that'll sit at the bottom of that scoreboard, bullpens on each side, light towers. As you can see, lights are already in, LED lights. Big difference. Most I think Seattle now is the other park that has put LED lights in, but gives us the ability to turn those lights on and off in a split second, where today we don't have that ability. We're going to do some creative elements with it, hit a home run. create a little bit of a show with those lights at the same time.
So just in 2 short weeks since we shot that with Mike, the SunTrust Park sign has gone up. And guys, there is a live webcam that you can watch on Braves.com if you just click on the SunTrust Park tab. But stay with us. We have starting lineups and first pitch coming up with Chip and Joe in the booth right after the break.
Wrap up our series, and it's already been a special day out on the field because 16-time world champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And he was styling and profiling. Check him out.
Yeah, he was. He was enjoying every second of it out there with his daughter, who threw out the first pitch and did a good job. And the place here was going crazy with a lot of woos going on.
Yes,
got him fired up.
So the Braves are all bundled up and ready to go in game 2 of the series. Nasty weather all day here in Chicago. There was no chance to play here at Wrigley last night or yesterday afternoon. That game is tentatively rescheduled for July the 7th. And while it is a drier day, it is still a miserable day. It's 46 degrees. The wind is blowing straight in. You were telling me the wind chill's a lot cooler than the 46 listed.
Yeah, 39 degrees wind chill. So not a great day for hitters. Good day for the pitchers. And we'll see how Julio Teheran and John Lackey fare. Was this Throwback Sunday?
Well, the Cubs are off to their best start since 1907, and those look like the 1907 togs the Cubs wore back in the day here in the Windy City. As now Anthony Rizzo and John Lackey lead the way onto the field for Chicago. The Cubs at 17-5 so far this season, a 3-game lead over the Pirates in the National League's Central Division.
John Lackey on the mound for the Cubs, 37 years old, 6'6", 235, out of Abilene, Texas, lives now in Austin, Texas. First time through the order, he's mighty tough. He's got a good fastball, slider, curve, and change, but after that, the opponents have been catching up to him, and that's why his ERA sits at 4.97. Oh, the big difference, though, all those runs of support, he's getting almost 10 per game when he makes a start. League hitting .266 against him. He's given up 3 home runs.
The defense behind Lackey today, they are happy to have their youngster Chris Bryant back after a sprained ankle sidelined him against the Milwaukee Brewers. The reigning Rookie of the Year will be joined by Dexter Fowler and former Brave Jason Hayward in center and right. Tommy La Stella, another former Brave, gets the start at third base. Russell, Zobrist, and Rizzo around the horn. And Tim Fedorovich is the catcher. Miguel Montero out with a bad back. So Nick Markakis and company hoping the Braves can win their 6th game today. And there's a change in the Atlanta batting attack. Notice who's hitting 8 for Freddie Gonzalez. I think Freddie really liked the Malik Smith-Nick Markakis combo that worked so well up at Fenway Park.
It did work well. Those guys were both on base, drove in a lot of runs in the Braves win in Boston. So they will hit back-to-back instead of having the pitcher bat ninth.
So Jim Reynolds dusts off home plate, just about set for baseball. John Lackey making his 4th career start. Nick Markakis looks for his 2nd hit of the series, leading things off here in the 1st.
Lackey 1-1 at .276 ERA in those 4 starts.
Nick's done a nice job since moving into the leadoff spot. He's hitting .302, batting first. We are underway with a fastball strike. .44 degrees officially at first pitch. That's outside. And the wind chill is 39 degrees. 44 degrees, 39-degree wind chill.
Go get him.
Yeah. No shirt sleeves for Lackey. Paints the inside corner. He hits the ball in 2 strikes.
It's like those offensive linemen that play in sub-freezing weather in football and don't have any long sleeves on. I don't know how they do it.
Ground ball towards second. Easy pickup. And the game's underway with a ground out by Nick Markakis. Ben Zobrist takes care of him. 1 up and 1 man down.
As you can probably figure out, neither team took batting practice on the field. They had the tarp down here at Wrigley Field until about a half hour before game time to get the field ready. So any hitting that took place was under the stadium.
Eric Ibar hitting second. He had 2 hits the other day, and he jumps the first pitch and skies it into shallow center. Wings pushing it back toward the infield, and Dexter Fowler's under it and has it for the 2nd out.
Yeah, you got to run all those out today. Anything popped up out behind the infield, it might be an adventure for any of the outfielders to come in and make the catch.
So Lackey working quickly, has 2 outs on 5 pitches, but now he has to face the suddenly red-hot Freddie Freeman. So it's good to see Freddie doing what he's doing on the road trip. He has 7 hits so far. And he was able to cut through the wind here on Friday afternoon. Long homer to right. He had a good rip at that pitch. Even count. Freddie's good work is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Last 5 games, 2 homers, 526 average. He's 7 for 12 on this road trip. Lackey's been giving up a hit per inning. He hasn't walked that many guys, 6 guys. But that's primarily because that's the way he works. He's aggressive. He makes you swing the bat and hopes that his best is better than yours.
Reds beat Lackey in Cincinnati in his last start. He gave up 6 runs. As Freeman pokes that one toward Bryant, he drifts back gingerly and makes the catch. And that retires the side on 10 pitches. Julio Teheran goes to work. No score early in Chicago. The first inning, John Lackey got the Braves in order, and boy, did we recognize the old Julio Teheran in his last time out against the Red Sox.
7 innings of 6-hit ball, gave up 1 run, walked 3, struck out 8. His career against the Cubs, very good. 2-0, a 3.82 ERA. That's in 5 starts. And his 4 keys to pitching success today, well, it's no secret that he has trouble on dry, windy days, so it's all about the feel he has on the baseball. Now, it is a damp day. I hope that plays into this and he has a better grip on the baseball. And the wind, as we just talked about, it's blowing in. Use it to your advantage. You know, if you're in some tough spots or behind in the count, be aggressive.
Julio's facing a Cubs offense that has outscored its opponents by 79 runs collectively this year. Dexter Fowler's a big reason for that. Fowler hitting .347 in front of Hayward, Chris Bryant, who's back, Rizzo's got a ton of RBIs, and former Brave Tommy La Stella slotted in the bottom part of Joe Madden's card today. So Dexter Fowler ready to go. He's hit safely in 7 of 9 for Chicago. Julio's first of the day, right there for a strike. Dexter Fowler's on-base percentage, a ridiculous 47%.
That is just crazy.
And he's knocked in 15 runs while hitting first. So he's been a great re-sign for the Cubs, who thought they had lost him to the Orioles. And that's over the screen foul. Not even now, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Out of Milton High School, out in Alpharetta, Georgia. Outstanding high school player.
Hit the other way, and it finds a hole. That's the kind of year it's been for Dexter Fowler. He guides one through the left side and has an infield hit in the Cubs' first.
That does make you laugh. It makes you feel good that, as a hitter, that I didn't hit that worth a flip.
Right.
And it just still earns him a base hit. Tough break for Julio, who made a good pitch.
Keep an eye on Fowler. He likes to run. The Cubs have attempted 17 stolen bases. He has 2 of them. And Jason Hayward hits with a big hole on the right side, with Freeman holding the runner at first. Strike 1. Jason hasn't heated up yet. Batting .224 and no hits in his last 12 at-bats.
Not that big a lead for Fowler, who respects the fact that Julio's got a great move.
Tight.
Hayward still stands way off the plate, likes to step into the ball, likes the ball out away from him, the pitch is out away from him, middle away. If you pitch him down and in, you're asking for trouble, but you can work him inside up.
Right back to the mound. Julio knocked it down and fires to first. That caught Julio on the glove hand, and he's shaking that left hand.
That was a rocket and great poise to go get the baseball and get the out. Ball away from him, right back at him like a BB. It looked like hitting right in the palm, which is better than the knee. Have to check on him. Get a little feeling back in there. And again, it's a cold day. Can't think of much worse other than maybe fouling a ball off your foot. That'd be the worst. He's okay.
So Hayward advances the runner. Fowler at second. Chris Bryant, the reigning Rookie of the Year, steps in. The Cubs got a scare against Milwaukee when Bryant turned his ankle. He didn't play Friday. Fortunately for the Cubs, rain out yesterday, so a free recovery day for the Cubs and their young left fielder. But back in the lineup, hitting third today with 4 home runs and 15 knocked in.
He didn't get called up right away. Did not make the club out of spring training last year. Cubs were saying that he wasn't ready. Of course, everybody knew they were trying to protect his clocks, not start his clock toward arbitration in terms of getting service time. And boy, when he got here, he cut loose.
And some of the fans here were absolutely livid at the Cubs for that.
Yes.
They didn't understand simple math. But 7 years of control is a lot better than 6 years of control for a player of Bryant's caliber.
He went on to be the National League Rookie of the Year. 99 RBIs in less than a full season. He strikes out a lot.
Yep.
And that'll get better as time goes on. 26 homers, 62 extra base hits, and the ball really jumps off his bat. strong kid.
Out of Las Vegas, Chris Bryant, and the pitch. There's the strikeout. Turan got him, and there's out number 2. First of the day for Julio Turan. And here's the Braves defensive lineup. Look who's playing left field today. Adonis Garcia gets the start out there. Alex Smith will get to experience the vines and the ivy and the fans in the outfield. Jace Peterson starts at third, and Tyler Flowers is the man behind the plate. Freddie Gonzalez earlier on the road trip said we will see Adonis Garcia playing some left field. Well, today's the day against the Cubs and Anthony Rizzo, their first baseman.
We also saw Eric Ibar play second base Friday. Freddie said that will happen from time to time to get Daniel Garcia at shortstop, who he feels like has played better at short than Ibar. Just that Garcia is really scuffling with the bat all of a sudden.
Shift on for Rizzo, who's down a quick strike. And that missed. Even count. The Braves are playing a man short today. They called up Emilio Bonifacio and sent Chris Withrow down to the minor leagues, but Bonifacio is not eligible yet to be on the major league roster. And the Braves released him. There's the 1-1 pitch in the dirt. If you bring back a released player, you have to wait 30 calendar days from that date before he's eligible to rejoin the major league roster. Bonifacio is not eligible until Saturday.
And that's because he was already on the major league roster. One of those fine print rules that's jumped up and bitten the Braves to have to play short here for a couple of days.
So one will assume that will be rectified by the time we get to New York, where we play the Mets tomorrow night. 2 balls and a strike. And inside to Rizzo, 3-1.
Pitching around him. That Zobrist on deck. Zobrist a pinch hitter. I mean a switch hitter, beg your pardon. So he's going to be hitting left-handed, but the way Rizzo's been clubbing the baseball, 8 homers, 24 RBIs, they might take their chances with Zobrist instead.
And Rizzo takes a walk. That's his whoops, to write it down for Rizzo. That is his 19th walk. That leads their club. They have 122 of them now as a team. That is something Joe Maddon's club has gotten a lot of mileage out of as well. They wear down a pitching staff with patience at the plate. 2 on, 2 out, and here is Zobrist. You hear that?
A little breezy.
The wind is just whistling around our field microphones. Cue shot foul at third, and Julio quickly ahead. Great names on the foul poles here at Wrigley Field. Retired numbers. Former Cub greats. As Turan ready with an 0-2 count. Runners go, and a check swing. Flowers throw to third. Is not in time. A double steal on an 0-2 pitch.
They did that the other day, remember, on Friday in the first inning with Rizzo up there. Good throw by Flowers, just a good jump by Fowler. Put that in the memory bank. innings. 0-2 pitches, especially in the first inning. Be heads up.
Julio's still ahead in the count. Zobrist straightened up. 21 pitches for Tehran so far in the frame. Remember, though, 4 of those were the intentional walk of Rizzo. So we can end the sequence and the inning with this pitch. A little low. Good take. Full count.
Stella on deck. He pinch hit here Friday. Had a key leadoff pinch hit double in the 8th inning.
And he's yet another hot Cub hitter. It's fouled off Flowers. So far, there don't seem to be any command issues for Julio.
That's what I was just about to say. He appears to be locating okay. Pitchers able to blow on their hands today on a cold day. That's allowed. He's thrown a lot of pitches this inning, but you don't have to give in here.
Strike 3, froze Ben Zobrist. Excellent changeup from Julio, and the Cubs strand a pair in a scoreless bottom of the first. At any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. They've been waiting for a championship a long time here in Chicago. Their last in 1908. Last time they were in the World Series, 1945.
I don't know if they're trying to say that they've risen from the dead, but they've got the makeup on for it.
Could be. John Lackey, a very efficient first inning through 10 pitches.
Those contact lenses.
Which Cub do you think that is from that era?
Hard to say.
I didn't think Uncle Fester played for the Cubs in 1907, but maybe I was wrong. That's ripped into the seats off the scoreboard foul. great players played for the Cubs back in 1908. As Adonis Garcia takes a look at the ball inside. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown, Orville Overall, Joe Tinker, Frank Chance. This ground ball hit out towards second, and Zobrist. That'll be an easy play. The 1908 World Series was infamous for something. It was one homer hit by Joe Tinker. The first homer in World Series play since 1903. Think about that. One home run in the entire World Series. Game times 2:10, 1:30, 2:10, 1:35, and 1 hour and 25 minutes.
No kidding.
For the World Series. My, how times have changed. Kelly Johnson gets a start today. He's the Braves' second baseman. No balls and a strike to Kelly.
Lackey, originally with the Angels, signed as a second-round pick back in '99. Underwent Tommy John surgery in 2012. Has been able to come back from that.
And that's an interesting story as well about sporting integrity. As it's off the plate, Lackey was traded to the Cardinals. And there was a clause in his contract that he signed with the Red Sox that if he had Tommy John surgery at any time during that deal, the final year of his contract would be for the major league minimum. Ground ball right back to him. He's got it. There's the second out. John Lackey didn't say a word about it, didn't complain about it. He said a deal's a deal. And got a nice deal with the Chicago Cubs.
I think he's making up for it now.
Yeah.
He's all right.
5 up, 5 down for Tyler Flowers. Lifetime .273 hitter here at Wrigley Field. Much of that work came while he was with the White Sox. Breather here for Lackey, who likes to work quickly. It's a good idea on a frosty day.
Now, sometimes John Lackey can be his own worst enemy. He can be real hard on himself. He'd get mad at umpires and disrupt his rhythm, get under his skin a little bit. That's a good thing.
Didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Battle.
You bet. 2 straight foul balls by Tyler Flowers. Chase Peterson's on deck. Braves are looking for their first base runner. To third. Costello loads up and makes the play. And it's 6 up, 6 down for John Lackey. It's time for today's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light.
Run differential. The Cubs have outscored their opponents by 79 runs. Braves have scored 75 total for the year. And, Braves have played all 4 of those teams.
Yeah, and we'll play the team in second place for 3 straight days beginning tomorrow. The Mets are losing to the Giants. Madison Bumgarner today, 3-0. Noah Syndergaard is the Mets starter.
You might have noticed those guys with the Braves cap on and other paraphernalia. They all had their frosty Coors Light in their cup. Nobody was in a big hurry to suck that down, were they?
Well, it's to stay nice and cold today.
Yes, it will.
You can
nurse that thing.
Exactly right. Tommy La Stella leads off. We commented on Friday how much leaner Tommy looks. And he is swinging the bat downstairs, ball 1. He's always been able to hit.
Yeah, Tommy's a good hitter. He's not going to win any gold gloves, whether it's second or third, but he's serviceable there.
I think the Cubs are an interesting case study. Remember, during their rebuilding process, they went about things in, I guess, a rather unorthodox way as far as traditional baseball thinking is concerned. As this ball is hammered towards center field, but Alex Smith is going to get it. 1 man down. Traditionally, and the Braves have followed this policy seemingly forever. The currency in Major League Baseball is pitching. But Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, through all of their rebuilding prospects, have drafted hitters. And power is in exceptionally short supply around Major League Baseball now. You think about Bryant, you think about Schwarber, you think about Rizzo, for example. I think the Cubs are going to be a very interesting team to follow because they have something everybody's looking for. Position players who can swing the bat if they need to go get pitching at the August 1st trading deadline this year.
That's a good point. Yeah, we talked about the draft upcoming in June and about how there is a lack of power, not just in the Braves organization, but throughout baseball and position players, and how that's going to be a very highly sought commodity.
You think about Baez, he can't play every day. Jorge Soler can't play every day on this club the way it's constructed. Those are 2 really good hitters. One ball, 1 strike for Addison Russell. This kid's going to be a superstar someday. He's knocked in 13 runs. Has more walks than any other shortstop in our league. And went around 2-2.
He's a really good athlete.
I mean, he had to be born to be a Cub, right? The first name of Addison?
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Tehran heated him up. That's strikeout number 3 for Julio.
And 2 of them have been fastballs that he's elevated.
Better start for Julio in the second. It brings up Tim Fedorovich. He was brought up from the minor leagues on Thursday when Miguel Montero was shelved with a bad back.
Fedorovich has been around. It's been a couple of different teams. Last year had a real difficult year trying to recover from a big time knee surgery. Did not play any games in the big leagues while he was trying to rehab that.
He proved he was ready with a terrific spring. Over 300 down in Arizona. Within 6 runs. Pride of Erie, Pennsylvania. Pitch to him is hit a mile high. Bar is out. And he's going to call off or be called off by Adonis Garcia, who goes to his knees and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down for Julio. He hit the third.
Third inning, and guys, there were some promotions made yesterday. That's going to bring us to our Synovus Greatness Made Here names you are familiar with. That is Dansby Swanson, and Ozzie Albies was also promoted. You're watching Dansby right now, guys, in his Double-A debut. He went 2 for 3 with a double and a home run and 3 RBI. Ozzie turned some great defensive plays. You know, whenever Ozzie was in Double-A, he's now in Triple-A. He hit .369 with 8 extra base hits, and Dansby, who was promoted to Double-A and Single-A, hit .333 with 12 doubles, and like I said, another double last night. So the future is bright. Hang tight, guy. These guys are on their way up to the show. They'll hopefully be here sooner than later.
Yeah, I was very excited, Kelsey, to see the promotion of both of those guys, and a great debut for Dansby at Mississippi. So good for both of them.
Well, that's something John Coppolella and the Braves have said. These players will tell the organization when they're ready to be promoted. And it was clear from the numbers they were putting up at their previous stops that it was time to move on up, as they say. And they are knocking at the door indeed very quickly here in 2016. Can't wait to see him. Jace Peterson, then Julio Teheran hitting 8th, and then Malik Smith. Swing and a miss. Yankees set down the first 6 Braves you've seen. Hit toward Russell at short, and he almost took too much time. He almost took a look at that baseball, and that almost cost him.
Yeah, a little too nonchalant, almost. Good hustle by Jace. 2 crow hops there on that one, and just got him by a half step. That's 2 outs from left-handed hitters, though, on fastballs away. 1 to Freeman and 1 to Jace, where they were kind of caught lunging, reaching for the ball. So his fastball must be running away pretty well.
To this point in the season, Lackey has been slightly more of a fly ball pitcher. On a day like today, that'll work just fine. He's gotten 5 of his first 7 outs on the ground. This one skied over the Braves bullpen foul. 0-2 the count. And if you can get the ball on the ground consistently in this park, no matter the wind conditions, you've got a great chance to win. Jason Hayward will drift to his right and put that away. Julio flies out. And 2 are out.
Again, Lackey's first time through the order, as we showed you, has been very good for all of his starts. It's the second and third time through the order where he gets into trouble.
And that's where you hope Julio Teheran can do exactly what Lackey's doing, because the Cubs' run differential that you talked about is +40 over the first 4 innings.
Is that right?
So if you can slow him down the first 4, maybe things will turn into Atlanta's favor offensively as well. What a thrill for Malik Smith. First game at Wrigley Field. Malik's with 7 RBIs.
He hit 3 ropes in Boston to right field his last game on Thursday night. That was good to see.
Little tapper. Lackey fields it and flips to first. He doesn't. Smith's got a hit. Instead, it's 9 up, 9 down for the Cubs starter, who leads off the home third next. note on the San Francisco Giants and, more importantly, the National League West. Many thought the West was going to be an incredible race. First to last, separated by 2.5 games, but at the start of play today, every single Western team is under 500.
Is that right?
Dodgers have lost 6 in a row. The Giants are 12-13. Colorado's 11-12. Those 3 teams are tied for first.
That is a little bit of a surprise. A lot of people would say shocker. Especially the Diamondbacks. They had such high hopes and hoping for a good start.
Losing A.J. Pollock was a killer for them from an offensive standpoint.
So they're in 4th place.
Zach Greinke has not been Zach Greinke yet. And they got to be worried about Shelby Miller. The former Brave has been a mechanical mess in the early weeks of the season.
You know what all those teams are saying about each other? Thank goodness no one has jumped out to a big start and run off and left everybody.
Good point.
I love that guy's Cub outfit. I mean, on a cold day,
I didn't see it.
That's about as good as it gets.
No balls, 2 strikes to Lackey, and this one's popped up behind first. Freeman takes a peek. Wind pushing, and he won't have a play.
Eddie Perez over there in the bullpen telling him no. Now the good thing is about that guy with the bear costume is that in Chicago you could wear it for 2 different teams. Show up for the Cubs, go to the football games, wear it there.
Don't go much further south than Soldier Field with that outfit on, though, however. might have a few problems. As this one's headed for the seats and out of play again.
There he is. You see behind him, Chip. He's got a.
Oh, there you go.
There's a big bear head that's like his hoodie, but he can pull it up over his head.
Lackey putting up a fight for the Cubs. Great catch by a fan from Winnetka, Illinois.
Is that up north?
Uh-huh.
Toward Milwaukee?
Near Northwestern. A school I had no chance of attending. 0-2 the count for John Lackey, and he's out on strikes. Julio Teheran takes care of his opposing pitcher. That's 4 strikeouts. The first 2 in the 3rd for Julio, who had a season-high 8 strikeouts last time out.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that he's not having to deal with the elements today. Everything so far is good. He's locating. He's got a good fastball. Had to throw a lot of pitches in the first inning, unfortunately, but has settled in.
Dexter Fowler squibbed an infield hit between 3rd and short his first time. Julio starts him with a breaking strike. 0-1.
Dexter's always got a smile on his face. You gotta like that.
Dexter was a terrific high school athlete, as Joe mentioned. He had a Harvard basketball opportunity as well. He chose baseball and chose very wisely. Foul to the left side, 2-2.
I don't know if Dexter's high school numbers would measure up to one Jeff Francoeur and all of the hype and publicity that Jeff got when he was in high school as a two-sport star. But Dexter's pretty close. Highly regarded.
Swing and a miss. Boy, Julio's humming in the early innings. That's 5 strikeouts for him. Jason Hayward, the final hope for the Cubs' 3rd.
This is a changeup, and look at the location. It's dying down and away.
Got an excellent one of those in Boston as well, and I don't remember Julio throwing this many changeups in one single start. 2 starts back to back. a very nice weapon for him. Hayward hit that screaming Mimi back to the mound that Teheran gloved and recovered to get him at first. So Hayward 0 for his last 13. Straightened up inside. See the pattern. Try to jam Jason Hayward if you can. As Joe mentioned, up and in.
Up and in. Tie him up. Tie up his hands. Because when he jumps at the baseball, he's striding and he's moving towards shortstop. He wants to hit the ball that way.
Three balls and a strike. Rolled over to first. Freeman's got it. Teheran to the bag. And Julio is settling in nicely. He's sat down 7 straight. Lackey set down 9 in a row. We're off to the 4th. Here in the 4th inning, 0-0, as you'd expect on a frosty day in Chicago. Time for our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Let's see if number 22 can hit double number 12.
He's all of a sudden tied with 3 other guys in Major League Baseball. He had a little bit of a head start on some of them, but some guys have caught up to him. He's had a good road trip, though. 6 for 14. And I can't imagine that John Coppola's phone doesn't ring once a day for somebody wanting to know if Nick's available.
One more note on those 11 doubles for Markakis. First the pitch. It's down and in. Ties a Braves April record for doubles with 2 other players, Henry Aaron and Marcus Giles.
How about that? I wonder if it was that year that Marcus hit like 40 doubles. A ton.
Must have been. 1-1 pitch. Back through Fedorovich.
See Marcus back for the alumni. I think he was back last year. That was good to see him. Hope he's doing okay. Talk about a guy who overcame a lot of, what's the word, discrimination over his size, too little to play.
That's outside, and that's the first Braves base runner. For Lackey, only his 7th walk of the season. And there goes his perfect game bid. Let's see if the Braves can take advantage.
And it was right here that a collision between first and second base that hurt Marcus and did a lot of damage to Mark Pryor.
I think it changed the history of the Cubs franchise, quite frankly. Pryor hurt his clavicle, I think. Never was the same.
Never was the same guy, was he?
Nope. It was awful. As Eric Ibar bats, hitting second. And takes a strike. You recall at the time the Cubs had Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, and Carlos Zambrano. As good a young threesome as it was. And that was the beginning of the end for Mark Pryor.
Yeah, he ran right over Marcus trying to field a ground ball between first and second. And literally knocked Marcus out. Knocked him out.
And if memory serves, the really horrible part was Pryor stayed in the game and kept pitching.
I think you're right.
He stayed in through 3 or 4 or 5 more pitches. He said it was all right, but clearly was not. 0-2 to Ibar. He's trying to get going. He had a couple of hits here on Friday, but still 9 hits in his last 63 at bats. I mentioned he played second base on Friday, the first time he'd been at second base since 2008. It was his first start there since 2007. Rizzo keeps check on Markakis at first as Lackey turns it loose. And strike 3. Ibar can't move the runner up. First strikeout for Lackey. 1 up. Excuse me, 1 on, 1 out.
Boy, did that fastball move. They had the target set up inside, but the ball started in and ran back out over the plate. And it's almost like Eric gave up on it too soon. Good pitch.
A shot to right. Hayward, a diving catch. Lackey points to his right fielder as Jason Hayward handled that sinking, screaming line drive for the second out.
Yeah, his pal Freddie Freeman might have something to say to him about this as well.
So Adonis Garcia is 0 for 1. He grounded out to second in the second. Garcia starting in left field for the Braves. And he pops up the first pitch. Left side. Vestelos will give way to Addison Russell. And he makes the catch behind the mound. Easy frame for Lackey despite the leadoff walk. No score in the 4th.
half of the fourth, and I know you guys saw that Kris Bryant is back in the lineup for the Cubs. He wasn't in there for game one. I was able to talk to him before the game. You know, he said he always wraps his ankles, and of course he hasn't wrapped them for like 3 games, and he said, of course, something happens whenever I don't wrap them. He said, I think it's the baseball gods telling me that I need to keep those ankles wrapped, guys.
Never fails, Kelsey, when you do something like that, that something jumps up and bites you.
I just like the way that Chris thinks. It's always good to blame it on wrap, Joe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bryant struck out his first time. Braves have a shift on for him. Jace Peterson's a step off the line at third base. Kelly Johnson's shaded a step toward right field behind the second base bag. There's a slight Kris Bryant connection with the Braves, and that is Bryant played in the same Little League with Braves starter Aaron Blair. One ball, one strike.
Has a little trouble with the curve. Good pitch there. Here's Aaron. He pitched well here Friday afternoon.
That sounds like a great movie title. Somebody ought to do that, huh?
Trouble with the curve?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he can pulverize fastballs. Anybody's. I think he hit a home run last year off the top of that scoreboard in left at the top of the screen. That's a good poke.
One ball, two strikes. He's wearing Mark Grace's old number, but there's a pretty good chance that he may go down as their best third baseman here since Ron Santo. Boy, we miss Ronnie. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's foul at the plate.
Nobody loved the Cubs more than Ron Santo.
Screen foul. There are millions of Santo stories. If you want to know about the passion, just cue up the Brant Brown fly ball call, and you'll get a perfect encapsulation of his love affair of and frustration with these Cubs. As Bryant takes a strike 3 call. Second time Julio's gotten him. He's got 6 strikeouts today.
Another changeup too. His changeup's been sitting right around 82, 83 miles an hour. It's been a beauty today.
Julio's pitching a game like, all right, I got beat 1-0 in my last start. I'm not giving up anything today. He looks sharp. He walked Rizzo. A pitch around in the first before striking out Ben Zobrist to get out of trouble. Rizzo's tied up inside.
And that home run he allowed to Jackie Bradley Jr. to get beat 1-0 was given up in his last inning, the 7th.
Sharply hit, a base hit for Rizzo. Rizzo hitting just .218 coming into play today, but with 24 RBIs. Only 4 of those 20, however, have come in his home park. Clean single with 1 out brings up Zobrist. Again, Cubs run differential enormous in the first 4 innings. It's enormous overall, but they do most of their damage first and second time through the order. If you can stem that tide, you got a shot against them. Blowing outside for Zobrist. 1 ball, no strikes. Very heavy first inning workload for Tehran. He's been much more efficient since. Three and 0. Joe Madden had a double steal on an 0-2 count. Let's see if he lets Zobrist swing. 3 and 0.
Just based on what Rizzo did there, I would assume the take was on, because Rizzo didn't even leave the bag until Julio was about to throw the pitch to the plate, which kind of gave it away.
Zobrist, who's walked 9 times in the last 8 games, has swung the bat only twice in the 11 pitches Tehran's thrown him today.
Well, that's a big lead over there.
Yeah. Fly ball center. Smith in a couple of steps and makes the chest high catch. And 2 men are out. Rizzo could feint. He'd be touching the first base bag with his waist. And here's La Stella. He flied out to center as well, his first and only time up. Braves are trying to snap a long losing streak to these Cubs. Tehran and Lackey, no score. A windy day in the 4th inning in the series finale. I didn't think much of that call. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think Jim Reynolds has done a good job back there today. I think he's been pretty generous to both pitchers. I wouldn't do a lot of complaining, although you can see on Fox Tracks that was mighty close.
Grounded towards second. Kelly to his right, has it, and throws him out. Julio Tehran pitching at Butte. Kelly Johnson leads off a scoreless 5th in Chicago next. It's getting close. Grammy Award winner Chris Stapleton's taken the country music scene by storm, and he's coming to Turner Field Sunday, May 29th for a free post-game concert, part of Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines Summer Concert Series. Go to Braves.com/concerts and get your tickets today. Kelly lays down a bunt, and it just rolled off that grass. It stays on the green stuff. He's got a hit.
Yeah, this foul line, both third and first base, the grass goes right up next to the line. So if it rolls off the grass, it's going to pick up a little speed coming off there and not be able to hold on. Great idea, though, to try to get the inning started.
So all the Braves have offensively working to this point is a walk to Nick Markakis.
Just a bit high.
Line drive left field for Kelly. He's busting it out of the box. He's around first and on his way to second. A double and the first Braves hit.
Nice bit of hitting here on this pitch. Looked like up and away. Yeah, running away from him too. Nice play by Bryant.
This might set up nicely for the Braves. We've seen Flowers hit the ball to right field a lot, and he hits it right to second. That'll get the runner to third. Sharply hit ball, and Zobrist with a backhanded scoop makes a nice play.
Great job.
Productive out indeed. Runner at third, one out.
Good job. Hit it hard. Well done, Tyler Flowers. Remember, the pitcher is on deck with the change in the lineup today, so he's not batting ninth. He's batting eighth behind Jace Peterson.
Infield comes in for the Cubs. Peterson grounded out to short his first time. And a fly ball to right will chase Hayward back. That should be deep enough. There's the catch. Runner tags. Here comes the throw. It is going to be late. Jace Peterson with a sacrifice fly, and the Braves, with a textbook case of ABC baseball, have taken a 1-0 lead.
Don't you love it? What good fundamentals exerted here by the Braves offense. Leadoff double, got him over, got him in. Jason Hayward did everything right here. He got behind the ball, came to it, and launched it, but just too far to go against a fast runner.
So Julio bats with a lead of 1-0 after losing a tough luck game against the Red Sox last time out. He put the ball in play his first time. He flied out to Hayward. He's quickly behind 0-2. In the Cubs' fifth, Julio's going to have the bottom of their order coming up. Russell, Fedorovich, and Lackey. Good take. 2-2. And that'll end the inning. But a Kelly Johnson leadoff double turns into the first Braves hit and the first Braves run. Jace Peterson with a sac fly makes it 1-0 Atlanta. comes your way tomorrow night from Citi Field in New York. And the always entertaining Bartolo Colon is the man on the mound for the New York Mets. The Braves have not yet announced who their starter will be. There are a couple of possibilities, but one probability is Bartolo Colon will do something that'll make you laugh.
He'll just make you enjoy watching the game.
Yeah.
Because he's enjoying it so much.
And those possibilities for the Braves tomorrow could be Matt Whistler with the rain out yesterday. The need for a fifth starter is minimized because we have an off day at the end of this road trip and the off day yesterday. But also, Mike Foltynewicz is apparently still very much a discussion for Atlanta. The Braves have not yet announced that decision.
That would be great if it was.
So as soon as we know, we'll let you know. So Julio Teheran with an excellent changeup working today. Will face Addison Russell.
With the lead for the first time in a long time.
1-0 is Julio's lead. Julio 2-0 lifetime against these guys. All the wins here. Pop up. Left side. High bar near the Cubs bullpen. The wind pushing back into the seats. And 2 rows in. Just out of reach. Strike one. Mets are losing 4-0 to the Giants. That game's through 6 complete. They're thankful to get that game going. Apparently the New York weather was as bad today as it was here yesterday.
And now the Mets are hoping it'll rain like crazy.
That's a little low to Russell. 1 ball, 1 strike. Piece of Tyler Flowers' mask. It sprang right back into foul ground, and the count 1-2. Fly ball to right. That'll carry out to Nick, who's in 3 or 4 steps, and Julio gets the first out.
And with 1 out, special birthday greetings out to my wife, Kathy. Little Kathy Simpson has a birthday today. Hope she's having a good day down in St. Simons.
Happy birthday, his dad used to say to Miss America. Kathy Simpson.
Former.
Yes.
She's also a former Olympic swimmer.
Yeah. Fedorovich swings and misses. Kathy, happy birthday. Fedorovich flying out to left in his only at bat so far in today's play. Right now, there's no pitch the Cubs can eliminate from Teheran.
No, everything's working. Everything's just beautiful. Everything works off the fastball, of course, but he's had an excellent changeup today and a slider.
That's a little low. 2-2. One thing I've noticed in my return to Wrigley Field, it seems like there are more seagulls and they are more aggressively circling in the early innings of the ballgame.
And tons of pigeons that keep darting back and forth in front of us up here at our position, where I kind of flinch a little bit, wondering what it was that went by.
Oh, where was that? Julio thought that was over the outside corner. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Yes, it just missed.
Yeah, just out.
to center. Hit too high. Malik Smith took an odd route.
See, that's one of the 4 keys. The wind. When you get in a spot where you know you've got to throw a strike, be aggressive with it, air it out, and tell them, let them know they're going to have to hit it a ton to get it out going to straightaway center.
And if they do, you tip your cap.
Yes,
like today,
yes.
Right? So Lackey hits. He struck out his first and only time up. What are Tyler Flowers talking about?
Might have been still about Kelly Johnson. I don't know. I don't know if he was upset with Kelly trying to bunt for a base hit. And if he was, I think he's out of line. It was the 5th inning. If it's his 8th inning or something, a guy tries to bunt for a hit against a guy throwing a no-hitter, that's kind of a no-no. But it was the stinking 5th inning. And that may have been why he sailed that fastball back to the backstop, remember?
Yeah.
Again, Lackey's a hyper guy. He's an emotional guy. And it has served him well.
Popped up, foul ground. Freeman near the tarp. Leading try and can't get it. Look, that's one of those unwritten rules of baseball. As you see the good attempt by Freddie Freeman.
Just out of his reach.
Goal is to win the game. If that means you bunt with no hits, that's the only way you can get on.
Yeah, it's not like he was trying to spoil a no-hitter in the 9th inning again. It's the 5th inning.
So Lackey is down on strikes for a second time. The Cubs are retired in order in the 5th. Malik Smith leads off next. Has the lead. Kelly Johnson with a leadoff double and a Jace Peterson sacrifice fly. Here's the sequence that we're still trying to figure out. Braves have no hits. Kelly Johnson trying to bunt. It rolled foul. Next pitch.
He didn't throw it to Kelly, but he sailed it to the backstop. His control's been very good today. And following getting that new baseball back, he stood there and rubbed up the baseball for a little bit, looking in at Kelly. And again, I say it's the 5th inning.
And we don't know if that's what Lackey was barking about, but it's awfully suspicious.
Pure speculation until Lackey came up to the plate and started jawing with Tyler Flowers.
Jim Reynolds was not standing between the two of them, but he was very interested in the conversation. So let's see what, if anything, happens here in the 6th with Malik Smith leading off. 1-0 Braves. Smith tapped back to the mound and takes one right back off the mound and into center field. A rocket right back through the box.
That may have gotten a piece of Lackey. I'm not sure. He slapped his glove, aggravated that it either hit him or that he missed it. No, just right between his legs.
You know, Malik's, when he's hit the ball the last couple of games, it has that distinctive sound to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, very solid.
So, you know, he's a threat to run. See if he can swipe a bag here at Wrigley. He's got a giant lead already. Markakis was the first Braves base runner. He walked in the 4th.
Something interesting at first base just a second ago. Anthony Rizzo holding the runner on, but Terry Pendleton pointed out to Manny Gonzalez, the umpire, that Rizzo had his right foot kind of on the outside of the bag there, like on the second base side of the base, almost like he was blocking it. And Gonzalez came over and took a look at it.
Nice scoop by Fedorovich. 2-0.
This is the ball that went back through the middle. Oh, right over his pant
Wow.
leg. What a picture.
That's a great shot,
wasn't it? So indeed it did get a piece of him, just not a meaty piece.
Malik Smith, 2 steals. He's been caught 4 times. And he's still learning the league, still learning the moves, getting his bearings on the base paths in these big league ballparks for the first time. 2-0 pitch. And a strike.
Ted Fedorovich, the catcher for the Cubs today, has been a journeyman catcher and never has hit a lot at the big league level, but that's why he's gotten in some service time in the big leagues, because he's a good catch and throw guy. Good lead for Smith.
He started, then stopped, and the pitch high, ball 3.
See, I love that. I love the fake by Malix. That was such a good fake that it drew Addison Russell out of position to come cover at second, which if Nick puts the ball in play, he's got another hole to work with.
Three and 1. And a breaking ball missed. 2 on, nobody out. Markakis walks for the second time. He has 15 free passes. Now the Braves have a great shot. 2 on, nobody out. This is Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach. He's going to make his way to the mound, as the entire Cubs infield defense will meet on the bump as well.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's asking Jim Reynolds what was wrong with the last pitch. Lackey had his glove over his face to try to disguise any madness that he might have had about that. But then Bosio said something to Reynolds too on the way out. There's that number again we showed you at the beginning of the game. First time through the order, and then all of a sudden things go the other way on John Lackey. And while the Braves haven't just worn him out today, they only have 2 hits, but they do have a run and have runners at first and second, nobody out here in the 6th.
And you have arguably the best bunter on your club in the batter's box in Eric Ibar, who is 0 for 2 today.
See, he's out of sorts. Lackey is. He's already agitated. He was in his set position ready to deliver, and Ibar hadn't even really gotten his hands in a position to hit, and he had to call time, and that made him mad. That made Lackey mad.
Smith at second, Markakis at first. Ibar got it down. Lackey will field, and he's got 1 play. Terrific sacrifice. Braves are in business. Second and third, 1 out for Freddie Freeman. Braves have 1 run on a sac fly. They're going to have a chance to load him up as they'll walk Freeman intentionally. And Adonis Garcia will bat with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Oh, that's pretty close. You alive, Freddie?
So Garcia, the man of the hour for the Braves. Garcia is 1 for 1 with the bases loaded this year. He's knocked in 3 runs.
He's always aggressive early in the count, but remember who's in trouble here. That's the pitcher. Make sure you get a good pitch to drive. Drop down on him. Where'd that come from?
Laredo. Strike 1 for Garcia.
Dennis Eckersley there.
Wild swing and a miss. 0-2.
And now Lackey can pretty much go anywhere, do whatever he wants, pitch wise, location wise. Good chance he'll go right back to that slider again.
Sailed up and in. And Lackey dropping down that pitch.
Up and in with a fastball. Down and away with a breaking ball.
I think you're right. He's not with us 100% right now.
Keep in mind, he and Fedorovich haven't worked together too, so that's an issue. And trying to read the signs, and Fedorovich is going through those signs at warp speed. He's having a little hard time picking them up as to if it's first sign indicator, second sign, whatever the case might be.
Garcia's still alive. It's popped out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Lackey was fortunate there.
Nice stop.
Ooh. That was a beauty. Alex Smith has never played at Wrigley Field before, but he may have been given a heads up by Bo Porter at third base that if a ball gets by the catcher here, sometimes it comes right back to him. That's just a brick wall right behind home plate. There's some signage back there, but if it hits the bricks, it might come right back to the catcher.
Double play ball. Russell bobbled it, dropped it, can't handle it. A run is in, and everybody's safe.
Lackey reacts to that.
So Smith scores on what looked to be a perfect double play ball. It's an error on the shortstop. Can't assume the double play, so Garcia gets an RBI and the Braves extend their lead. Thank you very much. And now Lackey gets to face Kelly Johnson again. Right off his knuckles. Zobrist will miss the runner at second. Run down between first and second, but a run has come across. Nick Markakis scores. What a piece of base running there by Garcia to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
They miss the tag, and the Braves steal a run as a result.
Beautiful job.
So the Braves score twice in the 6th inning. Didn't hit it hard. The boy paid off big. 3-0 Atlanta. Drop and roll play.
Yes. Yes.
This one, though, was actually well done. It turns into a run for the Braves. Now Julio Teheran has a 3-run lead over the Cubs. We're at the top of the order coming up. It starts with Dexter Fowler, who takes a strike.
Last inning was the 5th time this year. Now the 6th time he started an inning with the lead. 34 innings.
And another way that baseball is so fun. In that last inning, the Braves scored 2 runs on 1 hit. They also kicked what looked to be an inning-ending double play ball, and then a terrific base running move by Garcia allowed the Braves to steal another.
You mentioned Smoltz. I think Garcia's was really a legitimate stop, drop, and roll. Smoltz was more of a stop, flop, and tumble.
It was something. Let's just leave it. Let's just put it that way. It does defy explanation. A little low. 2-2. Don't want to walk in, full count.
Another one of our points of contention here with the team so far has been hanging on to the momentum. Shut down innings.
Fly ball, shallow right center, but Malix gets there. And Fowler's retired. Good comeback for Teheran. The Cubs leadoff man is set down for a second time, 1 away. Love watching Malix play center. He covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, when you see a ball hit like that last one by Fowler from where we sit, sometimes you're kind of in a it's going to drop, and all of a sudden Malix is there.
Jason Hayward has an 0 for 14 slide working. It's going to be 0 for 15 if Kelly can handle cleanly. 2 outs.
Good pitch. That pitch was away from him, and Jason rolled over the top of it trying to pull it.
2 quick outs. And here's Chris Bryant. Julio struck him out twice.
Target, low target, got away from him by Flowers. Typically, that's what Jason wants, is something out there.
Ball 1 to Chris Bryant. The Braves head to New York, 3 with the Mets coming up. Schedule gets tough for Chicago. 2 very important series on the road start tomorrow night. Pop fly foul.
Where are they going?
3 in Pittsburgh, which we can talk about at length. And then 4 head-to-head with the Nationals.
That's a tough week.
As good as the Cubs have been, they've been very good at 17-5. I know you really like that Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, they haven't run off and left Pittsburgh. Pirates are just 3 back. They've won 8 out of 10, including 6 in a row. Pirates are 15-9.
See if Julio can polish him off with a 1-2 pitch. He did. Bryant has struck out 3 times, and he elevated the fastball again. Teheran with 8 strikeouts, matching his last start, and it's a big shutdown inning for the Braves righty. Road trips heading to Kansas City to see the Braves take on the Royals May 13th through May 15th. Visit Braves.com/road trip and get all of the details. Atlanta 3, Chicago nothing. They're off to the 7th inning. Ground ball to third. La Stella knocked it down. Catcher running, gets his man, 1 away. There hasn't been much reason for the crowd of 40,164 to clap today. Julio Teheran is setting them up and mowing them down. Remember, the Cubs had a first inning threat, and since then Julio's allowed only 1 base hit to Chicago. Excellent work. Peterson, a line drive to first, just like that, 2 are out.
You don't play for a couple of days, you get in the lineup. You did something good already with a sac fly in the 5th, and you hit that one on the nose and right at somebody.
Julio Teheran will continue on, as you'd expect. Julio's 0 for 2. First time in his career. He's been winless in his first 5 starts of a season. He's got a great chance to end that today. And an encouraging sign for the Braves. Back-to-back excellent starts. And that one's hit toward left. Bryant had a good jump, and that'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch after 6 pitches for Lackey. 3-0 Atlanta the lead.
A 2-hit shutout ball and 8 strikeouts through 6 innings. You're seeing all of them right here. He's elevated his fastball at times today. He's had an outstanding changeup. He struck out Chris Bryant 3 times, twice looking. So an all-around good day. He'll head into the 7th with some activity in the Braves bullpen just to back him up.
And that's because the middle of this Cubs power-laden order is coming up. Rizzo, Zobrist, and then Tommy La Stella. 2 hits over 6 innings. So it'll be Rizzo first. And one defensive change for the Braves. Late innings with the lead. Jeff Rancour is going to take over for Adonis Garcia. That makes sense. Strike 1. Braves have 3 runs on 2 hits. A big Addison Russell error kept the inning alive for the Braves to score 2 runs. 2 balls and a strike. High fly ball right center. Alex Smith slowing at the edge of the track when he's got it. Rizzo hit it hard, but hit it too high. 1 out.
Not today. Times today where he's got behind in the count and had to make a good pitch. He's got a lot of fly balls to center field.
You know what? One of the big pitches in the game for Julio might have been the pitch that struck out Zobrist in the first. That was a sign of things to come. It was a great changeup. And this one smacked again to center. And this is a gigantic ballpark on a day like today. An easy play for Smith. 2 outs. Julio set down now. 10 in a row. He's trying to finish with a flourish. Here's Lostello for 2. Bill Bartholomew, the Braves chairman of the board emeritus, is enjoying this one. He's at the ballpark today. If Julio keeps this up, we may have to bring Mr. Bartholomew with us on every road trip.
No doubt.
Yeah, he went 1-2.
So now let's see how he did go. See how he tries to put him away. If he goes that back foot slider. Did.
And hit him.
And hit him on the back foot.
So Lostello trots to first after being hit by a pitch. Julio has to go back to the stretch. Freddie Gonzalez talking things over with Carlos Tosca and Roger McDowell as Addison Russell is coming up. You know, Russell would love to atone for that very costly error that led to 2 Atlanta runs. Freddie's still talking it over.
Yeah, they were wondering if the ball actually hit him, but I think it did.
Yep, no appeal.
No discussion there.
Let's see if Julio can end it right here with Russell, who struck out and flied out. Strike 1. Toronto won today. They beat Tampa Bay down in St. Pete. 5-1's the final there. Cincinnati and the Pirates are now tied 3-3 in the 8th. Swing and miss.
Somebody scored 12 runs in an inning. Was that
That was the
yesterday?
Mets. That was the Mets a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Cespedes had 6 of them. 6 RBIs, that is.
That was a Jake Peavy start for the Giants.
0-2. Is pumped out of blood. Yeah, the Braves are catching the Mets at a bad time. Mets hit 33 homers in April. Michael Conforto is hitting over 400 the last 2 weeks. He's their number 3 hitter. But the Giants are handling him today at 6-1 San Fran late. 0-2 to Russell. And that's high.
Good try. They went right back upstairs to see if he would offer it that same pitch that he struck out on back in the 2nd inning.
One ball, 2 strikes. High fly to right and playable for the moment. Markakis near the wall, leaping try, and the wind just pushed that into the seats.
Absolutely did.
Routine fly ball, but Mother Nature helps Russell in his home park. And a fan from Skokie, by the way, made the catch.
Who's Skokie?
Skokie is northeast of here. Hometown of the late, great former producer-director of the Cubs, Arnie Harris. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. What a day for Julio Teheran. 9 strikeouts and a shutout through 7 in Chicago. 3-0 Atlanta the lead. Malik Smith will lead things off.
South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Julio Teheran, the pitching star on this day in Chicago. He has gone 7 shutout innings with 9 strikeouts. We'll talk about that and more on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity after the ball game. Hugs all around for the Braves right-hander as Mallex Smith leads off inning number 8. Mallex Smith hit a rocket right through the legs of John Lackey his last time up. It spun the uniform pants around his right leg. And Mallex came around to score the second Atlanta run on a double play ball that was booted by Addison Russell at short. Smith, Markakis, and Abar in the 8th. Fly ball hit toward Bryant in left. Long run, can't get there. That sore ankle cost him a shot. Smith around second. Look at him fly. Helmet off. He's trying for 3. Throw to third. Beat it. He's out. First out at third base.
Not good. He's made a couple of base running mistakes. There's no mistake about this swing. Up and away, went with the pitch. And with no Ivy out there, the ball comes back a little faster. But you gotta be able to, gotta make sure you're gonna make it. And you're leading off the inning.
Braves are gonna look at this. The hand was on the bag. The tag was up on the biceps. And Freddie Gonzalez saw that too, as did Rob Smith. Might as well take a look.
Why not?
Let's see from this angle. The ball beat him.
Ooh. I think he might be safe.
Good rotation. Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire, was the man at third base and the man that made the call. The only other thing might be, did Smith's hand pop off the base with that momentum carrying him into the man at third base on that throw.
I thought that angle, that camera angle from left field, was the most obvious.
So we go back to our fallback statement. Is there enough evidence to change the call, which was out?
I don't know that there will be. And from Jim Reynolds' vantage point, see him there on the home plate side of third. I'm not sure he could see that either. But I love the swing. I love the fact that he went with the pitch. But when you're as fast as Mallex is, it's hard not to want to think that you can outrun everybody. And I mean by everybody, the throws and the relays. He may overturn this one.
So while the replay officials in New York talk it over, Lackey continues to throw. We haven't had a chance to talk about one of the big stories in Major League Baseball, and it's one that could impact the Braves in the National League East, and that's Dee Gordon. Dee Gordon was suspended 80 games earlier this week for testing positive for a stacked steroid substance, and there are still many people around Major League Baseball, including me, trying to figure out why in the world Dee Gordon did that.
He's claiming he doesn't have any idea what he might have ingested that had that product in it. And that's what I think it was Justin Verlander came out the other day and said, you know, I don't put anything in my mouth anymore that I know, and we do call him out, but I don't know for sure it's not on the approved list from Major League Baseball. I don't even consider anything like that. So it's on the players. It's on the players to make sure they're not taking stuff, any supplements of any kind that might somehow might show up as an illegal substance by baseball standards. I don't have a lot of sympathy for him, given all the warnings and all the other information that's out there.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because in every locker room there's a big billboard that has Rule 21, the gambling rule, how to wear your uniform and the like, as well as a list of banned substances. And if memory serves, at the bottom of that poster it says, don't put your, and your is in capital letters, don't put your career at risk. D. Gordon obviously did that, as Markakis smacks one towards center and Dexter Fowler runs it down for the second out. But all of a sudden, the Marlins, without D. Gordon, have rattled off 7 straight wins.
Yeah.
They're going to miss him.
Yeah, Dietrich stepped in, and he's a good hitter. Hit a home run, I think, last night. They're playing well without D. Gordon, at least for the short term.
And that's a shame, because D's such a nice young man. And he's such a good player. I mean, he had a tremendous season last year. And from what I read, he was flagged this spring training and was continuing to play under appeal. And when that appeal was denied and the suspension was announced, it's 80 games without pay. And from everything we've read, a lot of players are extremely upset about it. They want a level playing field. So we'll see if anything changes with regards to the penalty system for Major League Baseball, because right now there isn't seemingly enough of a financial cost to keep players from staying ahead of testing.
Something that hopefully will be addressed in the new player on the basic agreement when the players and owners get together for a new deal.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Eric Aybar. He's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice.
You could easily say, hey, 1 strike, you're out, lifetime ban, that's it. But there, I think, are some cases where there are guys who are like, I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, false positives happen.
Yeah, and I've been making protein shakes, so I don't know what's in these things that I'm taking that might somehow come back as a positive. So I don't know that you can go the harsh route of a so-called death penalty where you're out of baseball, but it's going to have to be heavier than what the penalty is right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Buster Olney was writing about that today. He talked about a 2-tier process. If you are found to have accidentally ingested something, you do the penalty. If you're found through investigation that you tried to circumvent the rules, maybe that's when either the death penalty or the voiding of your contract would kick in.
Yeah, that would be a good way too.
2-2 pitch. He is grounded right side. Rizzo, nice play. Lackey to the bag. Anthony Rizzo's not just a slugger, he's a slick fielder too, and he just made a nice play to Rob Aybar. Good Cub defense in the 8th, but they trail 3-0 very late at Wrigley Field in Chicago.
by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Big Jim Johnson takes the center of the diamond to work the home eighth. 3-0 Atlanta. Fedorovich, the catcher, leads things off, and Jim pumps over a strike.
Jim had a stretch of about 4 or 5 outings that were excellent until Friday. And here he went a third of an inning with 2 hits and a walk, and all 3 of those base runners scored. That was in that 5-run 8th inning.
Boy, was Julio terrific today or what?
His last 2 outings have been just spectacular.
So Julio in line for his first win of the year if the Braves can hold a 3-run lead and get 6 more outs.
Julio's last 14 innings, he's given up 1 run and struck out 17.
One of Friday's heroes for the Cubs, Matt Caesar, is on deck. He'll hit for John Lackey. Got a great story for you on Matt Caesar when he comes up. And a line drive to left. Francoeur running crunch. Hard hit ball, 1 out. Caesar was a football and baseball star at Villanova University. Helped them win the Division I football championship a few years ago. He was a wide receiver, played some quarterback, special teams player. And at the time, the football coach at Villanova had a bone marrow registration drive going on, and Caesar signed up for it. Apparently, the numbers are that if you are found to be a match, it's a 1 in 80,000 chance for you to be a match with someone. Well, later in the spring, as Caesar was getting ready for the June draft, he got a call that he was a match. And he had to start taking a drug that would help create more bone marrow for the transplant, which enlarged his spleen, which is what that medicine apparently does. And he had to stop playing baseball for a while. He did the transplant, weaned himself off the medicine. First game back, hit a home run for Villanova. A bunt, and it's a beauty. And Caesar is aboard with a single. And to finish the story, there's apparently a 1-year protocol where the donor and the donee cannot be in any kind of contact for the transplant. A year later, Matt Caesar gets a email. His bone marrow transplant was given to a 4-year-old girl from the Ukraine whom he had never met, and she's alive and doing well. And they finally got to meet via Skype.
What a great story.
So top of the order now in a 3-run game. Caesar with a pinch hit bunt single. Brings up Dexter Fowler. Jason Hayward, Chris Bryant are lurking. We're in the 8th. Line drive right center field. That's going to get down and roll for a while. Caesar on his way to third. Fowler on his way to second, and he beats the throw. Second and third, 1 out.
And I think Ibar tagged Dexter Fowler right in the face. He's holding the back of his head, so maybe it was in the back of his head.
So while the Cubs attend to Dexter Fowler at second, that's the end of the line for Jim Johnson. He got the first out on a rocket to left. A bunt single and a double now has Chicago set up. They'll bring the tying run to the plate in the 8th all of a sudden. It's still 3-0. Braves Live, presented by Xfinity afterwards, as former Cub Hunter Cervenka is on in a big spot. 2 on, 1 out, and Jason Hayward is the Cubs hitter.
Well, Hunter Cervenka, you see his 10 outings and is not allowed a run. That ranks as the longest scoreless outing streak to begin a career by a Braves pitcher. Broke the record held by Mike Stanton of 8 back in 1989. And the key here for him is outs. You're in the middle of the order, the heart of the order, and you've got a 3-0 lead. Those 2 runners at second and third, yeah, you'd prefer they not score, but you need outs to prevent this from getting out of hand.
And my guess is if he gets Hayward, you've got Vizcaino or Ogando for Bryant next. We'll see. Hayward versus Cervenka. And a great stop by Flowers. That ball was 10 feet in front of the plate. Yikes.
Yeah, 10 feet might be complimentary. What a great play by Tyler. Wow.
Hayward historically struggles against lefties. That's why the move was made. 1-0 pitch. Right there, a strike. Jason this year 4 for 21, a 190 average with 5 strikeouts against left-handed pitching. One and 2.
And again, the Braves would settle and be happy about it with him rolling over another ground ball to second base, concede the run, and give him 2 outs.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to second. A run is in, but it costs the Cubs an out. Caesar comes home for Chicago. Fowler at third. It's now a 3-1 game. And Cervenka got the big left versus left matchup that Freddie Gonzalez wanted. So Hayward gets the RBI.
And Vizcaino is going to be called in to get a inning plus save.
Like it. Runner at third. Bryant versus Vizcaino. We'll see how it works out.
Baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The Georgia Lottery. And Synovus, the bank of here.
Changes here at Wrigley Field for the Braves on a blustery day. Daniel Castro takes over for Ibar. He will play shortstop. He will bat in the pitcher spot, which is the 8th position. And Arodys Vizcaino is on for his 10th game.
Gave up a run his last time out, first time since last September.
Chris Bryant has been overmatched all day today. He has struck out 3 times against Julio Teheran. He's down a strike to Vizcaino.
He wasn't quite ready for 97.
Line to left. It's a 1-run game. A rolling curveball, and Bryant didn't miss that.
Yeah, I think it was a hanging slider chip that just stayed right out over the plate. Yep.
So those runs belong to Jim Johnson. And now you've got Rizzo, a left-hand hitter, to face Vizcaino, and Rizzo represents the go-ahead run. A bunt single, a double, and a rocket by Bryant makes it a 3-2 game. And now the big crowd finally gets to make some noise. Strike on the corner.
Joe Madden loves his bench players, and he gives them opportunities to do things to help the club win, to help them make them feel like they're more of the team. Just like Caesar's grand slam the other day came through. Today puts him leading off the inning, and he drops a bunt down. David Ross has stepped in and done a great job for them when Montero's back started bothering him.
They've got the kid Javi Baez over there as well. I mean, they've got everything except the lead today. 3-2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rizzo to a knee, didn't get it. It's 1-2.
That was a good break of the ball.
Just missed a corner.
And Vizcaino, former Cub. I think it was while he was with the Cubs that he had his elbow surgery.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Rizzo is down on strikes, and that restores a bit of order in the 8th inning. Chicago, though, gets 2 runs, 3 hits. Hayward and Bryant with RBIs. And we head to the 9th. 3-2 Atlanta. Let's head back to the 5th when the Braves play ABC Baseball. It's our Bringing the Lumber feature presented by Yellowwood.
Yeah, it was perfect. Kelly Johnson with a double the other way. He was moved to third base on a ground ball, a sharp ground ball by Tyler Flowers. And on the next pitch, Jace Peterson delivered him with a fly ball to right. Well done by all three men.
Well, let's get a runner two back. Travis Wood is the Cubs reliever. Wood on to face Freddie Freeman. He's only given up 4 hits in his first 10 games in relief.
Yeah, only scored on in 1 of those 10.
Here's an interesting note too. We talk a lot about turnover when the Cubs brain trust of Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein took over. Travis Wood is the longest tenured Cub. He got here a month ahead of Anthony Rizzo.
And was a starter.
Yeah, the deal that really turned their fortunes around, as it turns out, is the one that allowed Jake Arrieta to come to Chicago from Baltimore. All he's done is go 5-0. Braves miss him here in this series. 1-2 pitch. He's off the plate. 2-2. Travis Wood is up in the Cubs pen with Jeff Francoeur waiting on deck. And skied foul, still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants won 6-1. Excuse me, it's Wood on the mound. The Cubs have a right-hander working in the bullpen. Justin Grimm is the man. Thank you, Joe. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And rolled over to the right side. Rizzo, pitcher to the bag, close play, and Wood avoided getting stepped on and got Freeman for the first out.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get spiked, kicked, or otherwise. His foot is looking at Rizzo, is just guessing at where the bag is, and look how much of the base he had his foot on. Very fortunate.
So they'll stick with Wood here. Jeff straightened up. 1 ball, no strikes. Had 5 runs scored in this game. Only 1 of the 5 has come as the direct result of a base hit. Don't see that too often. 8 hits in total today, and Jeff almost got hit. 2-0. So it looks like they're going to pitch around Francoeur, go lefty-lefty with Kelly Johnson, and then maybe take their chances with Justin Grimm. And Francoeur, wise to that, takes a walk. He's aboard with 1 out. Kelly's had a good day at the plate. And that sequence in the Atlanta 5th showed bunt with Lackey on the mound, not allowing a hit. Next pitch sailed to the backstop, and then Kelly roped a double to left. Flowers got him over. Peterson brought him in with a sac fly. And this one's poked down the left field line and into the seats. Kelly's last at bat turned into a 4-3-6 double play. And the heads-up base running by Adonis Garcia to lay down right in front of Zobrist, who missed the tag. Took away the force play. Markakis scored another run for Atlanta.
That's the difference in the ball game.
You bet. Little thing. Smart base running. And now Kelly hits one in the air toward left center. It's going to be Dexter Fowler taking over. 2 outs. Francoeur back to first. And my strategy was flawless. Flowers versus Grimm is going to be the call, with Francoeur at first and 2 outs in inning number 9. We'll see how it works out after a break. The historic final season at Turner Field. Save off the regular game price and custom build your plan, or pick a popular plan like the bobblehead, Friday night fireworks, or Sunday Kids Day plans today by visiting Braves.com/4game. Grimm versus Flowers with 2 outs in the top of the 9th.
He was originally in the Texas organization, acquired by the Cubs for infielder Mike Olt, pitcher C.J. Edwards, and Neil Ramirez. Matt Garza went the other way.
I guess you could say it's been a fairy tale start for Grimm. 10 strikeouts over 7 innings, no walks. Downstairs, ball 1.
Started the year last year in Iowa and then finished with the Cubs. He was 3-5, but his ERA was $1.99. 67 strikeouts in 49 innings. That's not too shabby.
He went around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nationals have broken out in St. Louis. They're up 5-0 after 8.
They went.
Cardinals have lost 3 in a row. Here the Braves lead 3-2 in the 9th. That one got away, and Francoeur is going to move up. He'll make second standing.
It'll go as a wild pitch. I was just thinking, with 2 outs, might take a chance and send Francoeur, and didn't have to. Todorovic has done a real good job of blocking some balls with runners at third base today, but that one off the heel of his glove, he could not corral.
New set of signs now with a runner at second. 2-out hit would be wonderful if Flowers could provide it. He's 0 for 3 today. Fly ball well hit center. Fowler on the run, slowing. He's going to get there. Another day that might be up against the wall, but not today. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, the Braves up a run.
Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Fans spent your Memorial Day weekend at Turner Field when the Braves take on the Marlins and the Giants Friday, May 27th through Memorial Day, Monday, May the 30th. Don't miss the Chipper and Freddie ATV bobblehead on the 28th. Chris Stapleton performing on the 29th. For more information, go to Braves.com/tickets.
And I'd like to think the weather's going to be a little warmer in Atlanta than what you were looking at with those people out there. Bleachers on a raw day in Chicago, 3 outs to get.
Zobrist, LaStella, and Russell, the scheduled trio for Chicago in the 9th. Julio Teheran started and was brilliant for the Braves. 9 strikeouts, 2 hits in 7 innings. Jim Johnson struggled. 2 hits, 2 runs in a third of an inning. Cervenka and Vizcaino have followed. 2-0. Otis wants a new baseball.
Got to get that leadoff man. Come back. Keep him off the bases.
That'll work. Ooh, just missed. 3 balls and a strike. Leadoff walk in a 1-run game in the 9th. Here's LaStella.
Let's see how Joe Madden plays it here. Wants to get the potential tying run into scoring position for Russell, either Fedorovich or a pinch hitter.
These are the 2 men who are traded for each other. Tommy LaStella for Arodys Vizcaino. The Braves got a handful of international bonus picks in that trade with the Cubs. November 16th, 2014. Strike outside corner, no sign of a bunt.
All of their pinch hitters on the bench are right-handed. They have no lefties.
Stella has 3 career sacrifices. They all came with the Braves 2 years ago. Joe Madden, as we said, does not usually like to bunt, but he's going to try here, and it's popped up. He wants it. It's going to trickle foul. Nobody touched it. It hung up there for an eternity, but again, the wind pushed it away from Vizcaino, and luckily, he didn't touch it. And it bounced foul for strike 2.
You see the look on Joe Madden's face. Somebody missed a sign here. It was not a steal and bunt play. The Cubs extremely lucky that that wasn't an easy double play.
Yeah, if you catch it, then you double up Zobrist and kill a Cub rally. No balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. La Stella down on a heartbreaking ball. 1 out. 15 pitches for Vizcaino. The Braves bullpen is going to start to stir. It looks like Jason Grilly's going to begin throwing. Eric O'Flaherty as well. First time Tommy La Stella has struck out all year. Here's Russell. He struck out twice today.
I don't know if Vizcaino's uncomfortable because of the cold weather, but he's been pinwheeling his arm around and blowing on his hand.
And he just threw it away. Ball headed toward the Braves bullpen. Around second is Zobrist. He's on his way to third. The tying run is 90 feet away on a 2-base throwing error.
I can't believe stuff like this keeps happening. He almost threw the pickoff move away last time. The pitch before, the throw over, was not a good one. That's why I say he was uncomfortable. He's pinwheeling his arm around, and that one's even worse. I just can't believe it keeps happening.
Well, the mess starts with a leadoff walk. He rallied to get La Stella, then threw wild past first, and now Russell, who you figure can handle the bat, is in the box. Infield in for Atlanta as we approach 4 o'clock. Strike 1.
A little off, had him way out in front. That was a really good call by Tyler Flowers, knowing after the throwing error that Addison Russell's pumped up to drive in the tying run, looking for a fastball, didn't get it.
Outside corner 0-2. Base hit, game tie. He's gotten beaten twice with his breaking ball.
Makes me sick. You know why? Julio Teheran threw a 2-hit shutout for 7 innings, walked 1, struck out 9. He's got nothing to show for it. That makes me sick. It's just a spinner. A cement mixer, as John Smoltz would call it, on an 0-2 count.
Bryant hit a breaking ball in the 8th inning to drive home a run. Russell ties it with a single in the 9th after a leadoff walk and a 2-base error. And now Fedorovich is up, and he takes a ball low. Soler is on deck. Fedorovich went around, even count.
He doesn't like the bunt, but even with one out, he's trying to get the winning run into scoring position. Discussion down at third base with Gary Jones, third base coach.
So Lackey taken off the hook. Sadly, so's Julio Teheran. Tie game, Chicago with 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and only 1 out. Straightaway center. Smith froze for a moment, now says he's got it, and Malix puts it away for the 2nd out. And it will be Soler. Soler hitting 193, a couple of homers. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter.
Free swinger, a lot of pop in his bat. He's a guy that can turn this wind around. Outfield deep.
He just broke his bat. Ground ball short. Throw to first. Inning over. Vizcaíno can't hold a 1-run lead in the 9th. Free baseball in Chicago, 3-3. Vizcaíno, a couple of hanging breaking balls cost him a couple of RBI hits and the lead. The game now tied 3-3 as the Braves now take aim at Hector Rondon. He's the Cubs closer, and he's got the bottom of Freddie Gonzalez's batting card up here in the 10th inning now.
And it's the case for most managers in a tie game. You're not at home. You're not going to have a save opportunity, so you're ready to run him out there here in the 10th.
This is the first extra inning game for the Cubs. Braves are 1-3. Jace Peterson leads off. He's 0 for 2. He drove in the first Atlanta run in inning number 5. A strike from Rondon. Heartbreaker for Julio today. Can't pitch any better than he did. Let's see if the Braves can rally and win it, though. Fly foul. Headed for the seats. Sand 0-2.
Friday. Cubs got 5 to win the game. Today they get 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th.
One out as Peterson is late.
This guy really throws hard. He's in the upper 90s. Got a slider and a split.
Daniel Castro. On a strike.
Philly will work the bottom of the 10th.
And Castro base hit to right. Better hurry. Hayward lost it. It got past him in right, but not far enough for Daniel to advance. Looked like Jason was trying to size up a throw to first on that ball to right. He was lucky it didn't skip past him further. A 1-out single.
Definitely had that pegged right, Chip. The ball just scooted on him. Castro played it safe. Stayed at first.
In a game that looked so good for the Braves going to the 8th inning, now has become a game of what ifs. And Alex might be one of those what ifs. Remember, in the 8th inning, a leadoff double. He tried to stretch it to a triple and was thrown out on a bang play at third base. He's at second. You've got the top of the order coming up and a great chance to maybe bring him home. Runner goes, and a base hit the other way from Alex. Beautiful hit and run. He's going to try to get to third, throw off target. And Malik Smith and Castro team up to put runners at the corners and 1 out. 2, make it 3-hit game for Malik Smith.
Back-to-back 3-hit games for him. Perfectly executed on the hit and run. Hit it right to the vacated spot by Addison Russell. And the Braves are in business. Love the aggressiveness to try to get right back in this. Get a run, get back on top. And what happened to Daniel? Oh, he must have knocked the wind out of himself and went in head first.
That's the first Braves hit with a man on base all day today. As now Markakis with a fly ball could put Atlanta back in front. But first, Chris Bosio wants to make his way to the mound. Drew Stubbs is on deck because Vizcaino's spot on the lineup card is coming up. There's a base open at second base. And remember, the Braves are down a man on their bench. We talked about that at the start of play today. Not only are they short a man in the bullpen, Chris Withrow, who is sent down, but Emilio Bonifacio, who was called up, is ineligible. He cannot play until Saturday.
So hopefully there'll be somebody else called up, I would think.
Right, but at least for now,
yeah,
Freddie's a man short.
Nick Black's that first one.
one for Nick Markakis, who's walked twice, scored once.
Duke's the right man up there. He's leading the team in RBIs by a huge margin. He has 19. Next highest is 7.
Alex Smith and Freddie Freeman have 7 RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Malix is running. Pitch cut on, fly ball deep toward left. That's going to be caught. That's going to be deep enough to bring home Castro. Nick Markakis with a sac fly RBI cashes in a beautiful hit and run, and the Braves are back in front. So 20th RBI from Markakis. And it'll be Stubbs for Vizcaíno.
That was great work by Castro and Smith to execute that hit and run play, and again Nick comes through with his 20th RBI.
Again, this has been a great game, but an odd game in the manner in which the Braves runs have scored. Not a single one of them has scored on a hit today. A couple of errors and a couple of sacrifice flies have plated for Braves tallies. Now Smith's going to try to steal second, and he beat that wrap easily. His 3rd steal.
Let's take a look at his jump. Excellent crossover step. Bolted out of the blocks there. Fedorovich had that ball running away from him too. You saw how he had to catch that, bring his glove back to his throwing hand. Didn't have a chance.
Oh, 0-2 for Stubbs. And that's the inning. The Braves, though, break through. 2 singles and a sac fly. 4-3. Jason Grilli to face the top of the Cubs order. Tenth inning, Jason Grilli is on.
His 10th appearance of the year, and he was really showing signs of coming around, and he had a horrible thing happen to him in Boston. 2 outs, pop up between 3rd and home plate in foul territory, and A.J. Pierzynski and Castro let it drop between them, and on the next pitch Dustin Pedroia hit a home run. So he's given up a run in his last 3 or 4 outings. But that was how that one occurred. It was too bad for him. Just get the first guy. Get the first leadoff guy here and avoid a big inning.
Dexter Fowler is that guy who singled and doubled and scored. Jason's retired the first 5 of 9 hitters he has faced this year. Fast man.
Only one 1-2-3 inning for Jason so far. He'll be taking right down the middle.
Three balls and a strike for Fowler. Sharply hit to short. There's the leadoff man retired.
Boy, that was good positioning. Daniel was playing him up the middle. And in the right spot, he hit it right to him. Nice comeback from a 3-0 count.
Jason is 0 for 4 with an RBI. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield today. No hits in his last 16 at bats now. Missing to the arm side consistently in this inning.
Trying to keep the ball away from the left-handers. That's understandable, but off the plate.
Two and 0. Pitch.
We'll take it. We'll take that call.
Foul away, even count.
It was way out in front of that slider. I think it was up a little bit, so it was understandable how he had such a big cut, but he hit it right off the end of the bat.
Swing and a miss. Hayward is down on strikes. 2 outs in the 9th. It's Grilly versus Chris Bryant.
Elevated the fastball. Got it above his hands. Big out. One more to get.
Bryant's had trouble with a fastball all day long. Took one there for a strike.
And he picked on a hanging slider from Vizcaino to driving the tying run. Excuse me, driving the second run back in the league.
Anthony Rizzo is on deck. The Braves don't want to see him until our next series against the Cubs.
Didn't get the call, but a good pitch. Just cannot make a mistake to this guy middle in.
Everybody standing at Wrigley Field in the lower bowl. 2 balls and a strike. Now big trouble. 3-1.
See if they set up away and just try to get fastball away for a strike. Maybe he'll get himself out. Setting up out there.
Inside corner. Bryant was a step toward first.
It was a good pitch. It looked like a strike, but it was not at the target, and it came back to him. And the way Tyler Flowers caught it made it look like a ball because he had to turn his glove over, but it looked like a real good pitch at the knees. I would guess that Bryant would like to have that one back.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Braves up a run in the 9th. Excuse me, in the 10th. 2 out. And foul away. Bryant just got a piece of that to keep the at-bat alive.
Tied him up too. He had to pull his hands in to get the barrel through there. He had a good cut at it, but he was a little late.
Ball 4. A 2-out walk to Bryant. And Atlanta will have to face Rizzo, who's 3 for 6 against Grilly with a homer head-to-head.
That was a tremendous at-bat by a young player. Team's down their last out. Bryant able to coax a walk out of Jason Grilly after fouling off a couple of tough pitches. That was a good at-bat.
Mentioned when Bryant was in the outfield, he didn't seem to be moving all that well. Keep an eye on him on the bases if Rizzo finds a gap. Let's hope he doesn't. Ball 1.
Shift is on. Kelly Johnson in shallow right field. Jace Peterson over there almost in regular second base position. Castro at short. You can see how deep the outfielders are to try to prevent a double that might score him.
High fly ball left. Francoeur says he's got it. He does. And the Braves hold off the Cubs and win in extra innings. 4-3 your final score. Jason Grilly saves it. Wow, what a ball game. Nick Markakis scored a run. Kelly Johnson drove in a run, and a big day for Malik Smith with 3 hits and a run as well. 4-3 your final in 10. We'll recap it from Wrigley in a minute.